Now that you've created your cleanup, you'll want to make sure you gather the needed supplies for your upcoming event. To see what items you need to bring for your cleanup, you'll want to access the resources page from the blue navigation bar from your team leader account when you're logged in at adopt.greatlakes.org. You'll go to the resources tab, and from here, you can scroll down to the training section. The first resource under training is our how-to guide. This is a great guide that walks you through the process of being a team leader and hosting your cleanup from beginning to end. It includes a list of materials you'll need to bring for your cleanup on page 4. These materials are broken up into must-have items and optional but really helpful items on the right. You'll notice that some of the items listed in these two lists are things you can request that the Alliance for the Great Lakes sends you, such as our litter monitoring forms, which are our data cards that we use to collect litter data, and our scales to weigh the trash at your cleanup. Some other items that you will need to bring for your cleanup are gloves. You'll want to make sure you have at least one per volunteer. You can also encourage your volunteers to bring reusable gloves if they have them. You'll want to make sure you have pencils or some sort of writing utensils for your litter monitoring forms. I will show you in a second how to access our litter monitoring forms, the roster, and the sign-in sheets for your cleanup and where you can print those items. You'll also want to make sure you have bags or buckets to hold the garbage and recyclables that you'll collect at your cleanup. You can encourage your volunteers to bring reusable buckets if they have them to cut down on the single-use items you're using at your cleanup. You'll want to make sure you have a scale to weigh your trash at the end of your cleanup. A fishing or luggage scale works really well for this. And again, this is an item that the Alliance can send you if you request it. You'll also want to make sure you have a basic first aid kit on site at the beach for your cleanup. So for some of the other items I mentioned earlier, the forms that you'll need to print, you can access those from your team leader account. So you'll want to go back to adopt.greatlakes.org, sign in as a team leader, and then you'll want to go to My Cleanups from the blue navigation bar. Once you're there, you'll want to select the cleanup that you're looking to print materials for. From this screen, one of the things that you can view is your roster. So this is the list of folks that have registered for your cleanup. To view this roster and print it, you can use the blue print roster icon on the top of the page. You'll want to view this or print it as you get closer to your cleanup, so that way it includes folks that registered later in the process. From here, you can print your roster so that way you can check folks off when they get to the beach day of. You'll especially want to do this if you plan to do this using a paper form. You can also access attendance and take attendance from your mobile device as well, which is covered under our attendance video. Another item that you can access from this page is your check-in QR code. You can access this by going to the blue check-in QR code icon below your cleanup details. Then you'll be brought to a page that has your individual cleanup QR code. This QR code allows your volunteers to check in for the cleanup, register as a walk-up attendee for your cleanup, and to collect litter data from their mobile device. So all three things they can do using this QR code from their mobile device. So if you plan to allow folks to use their mobile device to do those actions, you'll want to make sure you have this QR code handy, and you can print copies of this QR code as well using the printable view yellow button on this screen. You can also allow folks to access those functions on their mobile device by using the numeric code available on this page as well. If you scroll down below the QR code, you'll see a 5-digit numeric code that can be used by volunteers to access the digital page where they can sign in or check in to the cleanup, register, or collect litter data. A couple other forms that you'll want to have access to or print if needed is our litter monitoring form and our sign-in sheet waivers. To access those two items, you'll want to go to the resources tab again, which you can get to by the blue navigation bar at adopt.greatlakes.org. Once you're on the resources page, you'll want to scroll down to the forms section. From there, you'll see the litter monitoring forms and the sign-in sheets link. Again, the Alliance can send you the litter monitoring forms if you request them when you create your cleanup. But if you want extra paper forms or need to print more, you can do so from this page. Additionally, you'll want to print some paper sign-in sheets for your cleanup as well in case folks attend that didn't register beforehand. Last but not least, if you do plan to manage your cleanup on a mobile device from the beach, you'll want to make sure you bring a fully charged mobile phone to your cleanup.